Hello, everyone, and welcome to FTB Sports. This is breaking news. Breaking news, guys. Today, I'm joined with Mike Solar. Should I say Mike? Was it Hotspur's Hustler? Hello, Mike. How you doing? You all right? Let's get
Yeah,
the name
mate.
right. Mouthful.
Mouthful. Yeah, mate. I'm all good. Yeah, it's Friday, isn't it? So
It's
weekend of football.
Friday, and
Nor- North London derby coming up. So yeah, I'm buzzing, mate.
yeah, London Derby. It's going to be amazing, absolute amazing. I
Should
can't
be.
wait for it.
Should be.
Can't wait for it. But we're here now tonight to talk about Chris Wilder, basically leaving Sheffield United. Um, they've been in quite a lot of trouble this season, really. But do you think it's down to decision that didn't go for them, or do you think it's bigger than what it is? Because I think they played really well this season. To be fair to them,
I think they've played. They've played better the second half of the season. The first half of the season, I thought they were the whipping boys, weren't they? Really, they were just almost a case of turn up and you'll probably get 3 points. But the second half of the season, since the turn of 2021, although not all the results have gone their way, they have started picking up points. However, they're still 12 points away from safety, which
yeah.
for a team that's bottom of the league, that's a massive ask. It's probably an ask in my eyes. That's probably too much. I can't see them getting out of relegation. I think it'd be too little, too late.
And it's weird in a way, don't you think? Because at sort of back in say November time, we were looking at say Fulham, saying Fulham's almost guaranteed for the drop because they weren't doing as bad as Fulham. But
I
go on.
yeah, no, I think with Fulham at the start of the season, I would say the first half a dozen to 8 games, they were getting they were taking a hiding pretty much
Yeah.
most games, weren't they? And again, they were like the whipping boys, probably getting heavier defeats than Sheffield United. However, what I think the issue with Fulham was they were trying to play teams off the park, and they kept getting unstuck. And although they're playing great football, the results were just showing that they had to change their ways. And Scott Parker he's turned it around, and they're much more direct in their football, and that's shown in when they beat Liverpool. They gave Spurs a real tough time. And again, probably from December time, I would have said they weren't, if they were losing, they weren't getting battered. It was just by the odd goal here and there. But they've picked up points, valuable points, against the top teams. And when you compare them to Sheffield United, Fulham are playing like a team that shouldn't be in that bottom three, whereas Sheffield United, although they've had a few games where they've picked up points and they've looked good, they've just not been consistent enough. And that's why I think Fulham will stand a much better chance in beating the drop than Sheffield United. I think Sheffield United they're done. I can't see them.
But also looking at it as well, because they went out and they spent 25 million on a potentially great player, Ryan Brewster. But it's almost like he didn't use them to his the advantage, did he? Or again, let me flip it as well for you now. You had Dean Henderson, who was on loan to them last season. Could he been the person who won them like 9 points, 12 points last season?
No, I don't think it's the keeper, because is it Sam Johnston that's in goal, isn't it? I rate him highly. If I was Mourinho, I think it's Sam Johnston. Is it Sam Johnston?
It is Sam Johnston. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think he used to play for United as well.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, he would definitely be someone that I would be interested in. But with regards to Dean Henderson, I don't think it's the keeper. I don't think it's that issue. I think that Sheffield United's issue has been when you're in that relegation zone, you need a striker that can get you goals. And I just don't think Sheffield United, you talk about the top teams, they need a 20 to 30 goal a season sort of striker. If you're in the bottom three, you need a striker that at least is going to be able to notch you sort of at least 15 goals. And then you'd have to hope that other players in and around the striker can chip in with getting valuable goals themselves. But for whatever reason, it's just not worked for Sheffield United. I mean, you compare that squad to last season and their fortunes to last season, and it's like they've got that second season syndrome, and that's proven a telling factor in their demise. And I don't think it. I mean, obviously the part of the blame's got to go with Chris Wilder, but for what it's worth, I think Chris Wilder's a top manager. And I think this is going to be a case of either he hasn't been given the required funds to get the players that he's wanted.
Yeah.
But then the board may turn around and be like, well, actually, we've given you money and you just haven't invested wisely. So I think it's probably, I think it's a 50-50. They've probably clashed heads, and Chris Wilder's probably thought, well, it's probably best if I just depart now, let someone else take over. You just don't. He might have just had enough. He just might have had enough. He'd just be like, nah, I'm done. I'm out of
here. Finish. Because after playing 28 games, they only won 4, drawn 2, and lost 22 games. You're looking at goals conceded like minus 12, 29 goal difference. 14 points from that. That's a team that's dead and buried, really, isn't it?
You can't argue those stats. They're done. If you're a Sheffield United fan, you might as well just sort of write this season off. Enjoy it. I mean, what they should do, in theory, perhaps, is bleed some of the youngsters through and give them a go, because whatever happens, they're going into the Championship next season, whether they like it or not. And I just can't see them turning their fortunes around with all the best will in the world. You can't see the other teams in and around them, or so I say, just above them, because there's no teams underneath them. I can't see them. Those teams that are just above them. I can't see them dropping the sort of points that we would be required in order for Sheffield United to jump up.
Yeah, right with it, because obviously, we'll touch on it. Paul Higginbottom will be taking charge of this week's game. They're talking about obviously bringing in a few managers. Neil Lennon. They were talking about Neil Lennon coming in.
Yeah.
They were talking about obviously Thingy that used to be manager of Howard from Bournemouth. He's not been doing anything, but whether or not he wants to come in to a team that's getting relegated, I'm not sure he would want to do it.
Well, I mean, with Eddie Howe, Sheffield United's, I mean, you could argue they're a much bigger club than Bournemouth. However, I think for Eddie Howe and where he is, I think he wants a Premier League club. Not for this season. I think next season he's going to be knocking on the door, wanting a Premier League club job to take over. Could be new, yeah. And I think Newcastle could be a good fit for him. Certainly test him, because he's at a sleeping giant there. But for Chris Wilder, Neil Lennon, could I see him at Sheffield United going into the Championship? I think again he might, unless money talks. I could only see him going for a team that is bigger than Celtic, and that would only be, you'd only find that in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And then with Paul Hickenbottom, I think they'll give him the job till the end of the season, caretaker manager to the end of the season. If he does well, you never know, he might actually get the job.
Yeah, 100%. And then obviously, I think what will happen, Chris Wilder might take time out, and then he might end up going to Celtic.
Yeah,
that'd be a good fit.
I mean, Celtic fans now are probably they're probably a bit worried with Rangers and their sort of evolution as such, and Chris Wilder is a great manager, and he could probably do wonders for Celtic.
Yeah.
So Celtic fans are definitely wanting someone with proven quality, like Premier League sort of standard, to go and take over them and try and retain that, try and obtain the Scottish Premier League title back from Rangers next season. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. I mean, because he wasn't even, like with Wilder, he wasn't, like, his job wasn't under threat. It wasn't public knowledge. It was under threat. So this has all come out a bit of out of the blue, hasn't it? Really?
Yeah. Like you said earlier, I think he's just fed up and walked, really, because it's the same thing with. a few weeks ago, the chairman came out and said he will not sack him. He will have to walk.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean he's done quite a lot for Sheffield
5
United,
years,
hasn't he? 5 years, and
yeah,
you can't really argue with his record apart from this season. If
yeah,
you look back, he's done with what he's had because he's never had a big transfer kit to play with. He's invested wisely, and he's worked wonders with that Sheffield United squad
yeah,
since he took over. So I don't know. I think if I was a Sheffield United fan, I'd be a little bit worried as to the future for that club because
yeah.
I can't see them finding another Chris Wilder who'd be able to once they've got relegated, assuming they get relegated. They're going to find it difficult to find someone to replace someone of Wilder's caliber to get them back up into the Premier League, which is obviously where all the Sheffield United fans, etc., want that club to be. So it's going to be interesting.
It's gonna be, and then for me, I do like him as a manager. I think
I
he's
like him.
phenomenal as a manager, and the style of football he plays. Again, we're gonna go to the Celtic. It's a style of football that sort of Celtic play, so that would fit in perfectly. We're just gonna wrap up now. We're just gonna read out a comment from Adam. Adam said about them being overachiever last season and the expectation was too high for them. Again, 100%. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I don't.
They did phenomenal. I thought they were going to get Europa League last season.
Yeah, you could probably argue that they did overachieve. Yeah, it's a fair comment.
Yeah, and then Junior Murphy, Chris will probably get sacked. He's gone, unfortunately. Junior, he's gone already. He's left today about 9 o'clock this morning, 10 o'clock this morning. He left Sheffield United, so we don't know whether or not he's been sacked or he's just walked. But he didn't turn up for the press conference.
Either way, also, he's not there.
He's not there. And also, on top of that as well, you got to think of his record. Like you're saying about his record, he's taken him from League One to Championship straight to the Premier League in 5 years. That's phenomenal. He'll go down in history as one of the greatest managers.
But and probably rightly so. To be fair, I don't think Wilder. That'll be the end of Wilder. It certainly won't be from a managerial perspective. I mean, he will pick it if he's been sacked or wherever he's walked. Either way, he'll pick himself up once once the dust has settled. As it is with a lot of Premier League managers, because it is a highly pressurized and stressful job. Most managers that are young walk in there with a full set of hair, and they either come out grey or they go out bald. So, it certainly won't be the end of him. He'll just need to sort of take time, reflect, and then work out where he goes from there. And I'm sure he'll get offers. He'll be inundated with offers.
Yeah. I'm going to say he's going Celtic. That's my prediction anyway.
It's not a bad shout, to be fair. It just depends on whether Celtic. It just depends on whether he wants a job going into next season or whether he wants to take a season out, maybe, and just take stock and see what sort of comes available at the end of next season. It's one of them. Swings and roundabouts, really. Yeah. I think I'd probably take some time out myself.
Take time and go back,
wouldn't even worry about football, especially if you're manager of a club that's bottom of the league. I can imagine he didn't get many sleepless. So I can't imagine he slept well for many nights during this season. So he'll probably be happy to put his head down and get some decent sleep for once.
It's definitely 100%. But guys, that's it. We're going to wrap up because that's the breaking news. Chris Wilder left Sheffield United today. And like we said, we don't know where he's going to go. He might take time away from football. He might go straight into another job. But yeah, this is FTB Sports with breaking news, guys. Thanks for watching. Mike and myself, Solo7. Find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Have a lovely evening, guys. Thank you for watching.
Cheers, mate.
Bye. Bye.